So next we have Rebecca Abelman, who will be talking about the experience of transitioning into college.
Yeah, I actually didn't prepare anything, so if people wanted to ask good questions, I would gladly answer any of them.
Well, why don't you do a brief intro, just
okay,
where you're going and how, what year you're in and what.
Okay. I'm currently a senior at Salisbury University, and I'm majoring in medical laboratory science, which is just a fancy way to say a medical technology degree. I plan to go to graduate school the following year. I'm not 100% sure where I want to go yet, which is exciting and kind of terrifying. I guess my story, I was diagnosed when I was 11, been coming to clinics instead of ever since, and my mother has it, my sister has it, so it's definitely a family ordeal, but we get through it, together, and
Do you live on campus?
I do live on campus.
Can you talk about campus life and dorm life?
I love living on campus. One of the reasons I actually really chose Salisbury is it's a very small and kind of connected campus, so it was very easy mobility-wise for me to get from place to place. And I became kind of active in the Disability Association at our school, who's headed by probably the nicest lady I've ever met. But I joined that program, and they actually allowed me to pick my classes before anyone else could. So I would make sure that I would have time to get from place to place, or if, say, there was a class in one building that was, too far, and there was a second class in another building that was a bit closer, I would be able to choose the second class pretty much unchallenged, which was really nice. And just that really, really helped out. And then as far as living on campus, the Disability Association worked with the Housing Association, and I was able to get really fantastic housing, always on the first floor, and I didn't need wheelchair accessible places, but they would have easily given it to me, no questions asked, basically, because it was nice to be immersed in there and feel very, very much like a normal college student, which is great.
I think that experience of college is a wonderful sort of semi-independent environment for all children, and to make a kind of a gradual transition from some living in a parent's home where all of your needs are taken care of hopefully, to having to take care of all of your needs independently. College is just a wonderful sort of stepping stone there. So I certainly really encourage it. Not that I had encouraged or discouraged you. You were going. But, some families are very much on the fence about that, and there are concerns in families where a child has significant disabilities. But there are schools that are really accommodating, like Salisbury, and I've been incredibly impressed with Salisbury. There are schools, many schools like that, and one can also get some state aid in terms of getting help if you have really significant disabilities.
So is there a website to go to find these universities that are...
I can answer that. As far as Salisbury and picking the school that I wanted to go to, the schools will openly have, their Disability Association, I'm sure every school has them, will openly have their website, and people contact people, email and ask. I know I was talking to a lot of schools before I went to them to see what they could do, and some schools are better than others, and Salisbury was definitely one of the better ones. I'm not saying that everyone should go there, but I'm proud of this school. But yeah, as far as a website, I haven't actually heard of one, but be very active in asking, because it couldn't hurt to ask.
But the general concept is there a site that I can go to that gives me the resources, or talks about these issues for those with muscular dystrophy? No, boy, do we need that, particularly in Maryland, where you got to get one piece of information here, another piece of information there, and try to catch together your support system. I think it's very difficult.
I
Rebecca. Was your school familiar with FSH or the Disabilities Association that you're involved in?
No, probably not. I did have to go in and kind of explain what my needs were, and I was pretty aware of what they were, like carry long distances or can't lift things over my head, and lots of stairs are probably not the best option. In fact, the head of it really wasn't science, she was more of a social worker in general, and it was kind of an overall disability association, not just physical, but also intellectual too. But after a while, it seemed like she actually did her research, and when I came back to meet with her again, she was like, oh, how's this doing? So it seemed like she really actually went in and did external research and talked to some people, and just to see if she could help my experience at Salisbury even more so than she did originally. So.
Rebecca, since you were working in the lab, the muscle lab this summer, any difficulties in your transition from being a student to actually working with?
It's actually working in the lab hasn't been my first full-time job. I actually worked at the Science Museum on the Inner Harbor full-time there for a couple summers, so that was really fun. And then I came over to the lab, and for me the transition wasn't very difficult because I work at the labs at school too. And as far as just, it doesn't really seem to challenge me. I've become, in my years of working in a lab, I've become very resourceful in using the strength that I have and the strength that I don't have. Like, if there's something not really high, I'll go and ask. I don't feel bad about asking people to grab it for me. But as far as that, I'm pretty much independent and can work on my own.
She's very independent. She's very good.
She's a few.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So what were some of the things when you first started looking for a school? What were you looking for?
I was really big on academics. Actually, the whole disability thing was kind of secondary to me, because I was interested in a school that would offer the major I was looking for, which at the time was biology, so it wasn't very hard to find. But Salisbury called to me for a lot of different reasons. One of it being their academics are very strong there, and second, that it was a smaller school and that it was more accessible. That was kind of a secondary thought to me. And then three, the social aspect of it was wonderful. I mean, there are so many, I joined an honors program there, and our honors program actually does fundraising for the MDA now. Thanks to me. I kind of brought it up at a meeting, and everyone seemed really excited about it. So, just overall, the community of Salisbury also really enjoyed it. So, I guess to me, the campus visits were a big deal because it also showed the accessibility of the campus. They can brag about it all they want on their website, but until you go and you walk it yourself, it was definitely a feeling that I got that I wanted to go there. That answers your question.
Rebecca,
Yes.
Kristen online asked, she says she's also a med tech, and she's wondering if there's any adaptive equipment you found particularly useful or helpful in the lab.
As far as adaptive equipment, I haven't used any. Some of the techniques that we had to use, like, holding a pipette up to read it, I don't get to use my other arm for some assistance to see, to make sure I'm measuring properly. And then sometimes, spending a lot of time on your feet, I got a really nice pair of shoes that were really expensive, but they actually paid off, and they helped with some of the backaches, and maybe it didn't hurt afterwards or anything. And as far as that, I haven't really found anything in lab that's been challenging other than reaching to get things on tall shelves. But hopefully, if I work in a lab, I can move the things I need down from it. So, yes.
Were you wheelchair bound? Would they adapt
Oh, yes.
to you?
Yes.
They would?
Mm-hmm.
Are there other people?
They've had other students come through my major specifically. Even though we're in an older building, it's actually still wheelchair accessible, which I was actually surprised to see. But they would have been very accommodating if I needed more help. But so far, so good.
Would you be able to do your current duties?
Yes. That's actually one of the things I'm looking into and kind of passionate about. Medical research and medical technology in general isn't a field that a lot of people with difficulty with accessibility go into. But that would be something I would kind of like to endorse and try to get more people like be interested in this field that most people don't even give a second thought to. So that's something that I would actually kind of like to become a part of when I get to that point.
Great, okay. Thank you so much. So now we have Colin Walters. Can you stay there and introduce yourself and how old you are and where the...
I'm Colin Walters. I'm 16, turning 17 later this year. Basically, I went diagnosed at an early age. Can't think of it right now, but and basically going throughout the years and everything, I basically try to figure out ways to get around obstacles or whatever. If I need to walk a certain amount of distance or whatever to get from class to class, in my earlier years, I just take a break while walking down the hallway and keep going. As my disease progressed, I ended up moving into a scooter, and that made things a lot more easier getting down the hallways from classes to classes. And I don't take my scooter into the class because I can still walk, and I think a lot of people are willing to help if I need it, and so I haven't had many problems of getting help or anything. Questions?
What do you want to do after high school?
I don't know.
What sort of your top three?
Right now, I'm doing different things. I'm looking into programming, computer science, and I'm also looking into biology and stuff. So right now I'm just figuring out what I'm going to do from there, where I'm going to go.
Do you use the public school system transportation with your scooter, or how do you get to school?
Well, there was big trouble with that, and basically my mother drives me. We have a lift, and we offload the scooter, and I just go to school from personal transportation stuff.
Little County does not have the tie-downs for a scooter, only a wheelchair. So, it's one of those trying to fight the system.
Yeah.
Not many children use scooters in the school system. Most, are using wheelchairs. So, to adapt every school bus, they can't just adapt one school bus because depending on if that bus breaks down, et cetera, et cetera. So, we worked out a reimbursement program to where they now reimburse me to take them back and forth. But, it was a long fight to go down. They're very good though at field trips. They've been very good since Colin uses, a small scooter, it breaks down. So they can put it underneath the bus. He went to Philadelphia on a field trip, and they were able to break down the scooter, put it underneath, and in the storage compartment. That's one of those big travel buses, and he's done other field trips that they've used the normal public school bus, and they just break it down, put it on the front seat. So they have been good in that sense, making that, working around it, the schools, and that's,
What are the things you do other than just go to school?
What clubs?
I don't really do a lot of clubs. The only club I'm in, was in currently was chess club, and it's mainly for me, I like thinking and everything, so doing chess and everything, it's really involved with figuring out what to do. It really helps mentally thinking and everything, what you can do, etc., etc.
I had a question. So, you'll be looking at colleges? Is that something you're thinking about?
I am, and right now it's really just thinking about what I really want to do in the future, and I'm not very sure at the moment. So yes, I'm looking at colleges, but I'm not sure what I'm going to do.
Are you thinking about, do you have certain criteria, like you want to be within a certain distance, or you want to get farther away, or big college, small college?
Like I said, I don't really, right now I don't have a preference. I mean, I don't think I want to be too far away, but I don't want to be in, I guess it's a massive college, relatively small, I don't know. But right now, I'm just figuring out what I want to do.
Keep on myself.
Besides your mother, do you have other mentors or people, guides who have examples of how you could wind up in the future?
Repeat the question, sorry.
Besides your mother, as an example, do you have other people with muscular dystrophy or FSH as examples of what you might wind up doing in the future? Mentors.
People I know, I would say I have many people that I know and everything that are thinking that are currently doing what I'm doing, so I guess you say no, I don't have any example really for what I really want to do in the future. I mean, there's some people that I look and see that how they're handling things at the moment, living by themselves or whatever, but in terms of what I want to do as a job or what I want to study or anything, no.
Colin, would you like to have that maybe if FSH offered a mentor program or I mean, do you think it would be beneficial to you? Or at least
I'm not really
interested?
looking at that. I'm just thinking on myself right now and just wondering what I want to do.
Yeah, I think that's a really interesting question. That do young people with muscular dystrophy want a mentor who has muscular dystrophy, or do they just want a good mentor? And maybe the answer to that depends on the individual. It's I think it's somewhat similar to as a woman in a mostly male-dominated field. Yeah, I actually would have liked to have a woman mentor. I don't know if I had any women mentors, but I'll take any good mentor.
I think that's something that's really for young people to really have, somebody with FSH that they can look at and say, look, they've handled whether either career or, I get asked a lot, well, did you know you had FSH when you had children? Yeah. So, and I get asked, well, how did you handle that? How were you able to lift them up? So I think it's definitely something that, is important, whether it be for a career or just life, or seeing how people handle the everyday, today living with FSH.
There are so many people with FSH who are successful in their careers, and it is wonderful when they do reach out to the younger generation. We had the opportunity with Alan Brown, who has been to this information group meeting. He works for NFL Films, and we had Laleen and Colin and I and my son. out that there. And Alan's, you know, is just a great example of just you know, overcoming obstacles as they present themselves, and has been very successful in his career. You know, you haven't expressed an interest in going into NFL films, but still, you know, seeing an older man with FSH overcoming his obstacles and being successful, I think is great.
I think the one thing, and I've seen this with Don too, is with Alan, you know, he said, I love sports, but I knew I could never play football. So it was finding something that he can take his passion to and still do something in that area. So I think that's the biggest thing that I really, when we went, I saw, wow, you know, he loves sports, but so he found a way to making that fit into his lifestyle. Same with Don, you know, just been huge inspiration. You know, he loves technology and you know, watching him succeed in